Ooh.
So, let me just get my conversation started.
All right.
Well prepared for this.
Magnus in there.
New year, new you.
Kind of.
You same old shit.
Plan. It don't mean it's going to go to plan.
Yeah.
Because these are... So first things first, what's your thoughts on them? Not on them. What's your thoughts about it? Life after death?
I'm a believer.
You are?
I am. And I've got quite a few stories within the family, one of which drastically changed my dad's view on it.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes you think, okay, well, can't all be wrong. When it got to the point that my auntie's house got demolished because of everything that was going on. So you think, okay, well,
But I mean,
that coincides with the stories my mum and dad told me growing up.
and there has been
You
a
think?
few. There's been a few movies out there are saying it's based on actual events and stuff. Just similar to what you're talking about, Gary. The Entity. Apparently, that was something that followed her about, and was it? I think they ended up having to move.
Got no. There's loads of like The Conjuring. They're all done on real life stories.
Yeah, it's based on. Well, I'll go to say actual events, but it's like how much of it's actually actual and how much of it is
to be
nonsense.
fair, you'd be surprised with how much of it is, because that follows Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are big. They've got like they collect like haunted objects. I believe she was a medium as well, or some kind. She had some kind of in touch with the other side as such. And they're American, and obviously there's the Enfield House in London. That was and then Peggy the doll. Not Peggy. Yeah, it is Peggy, aka Annabelle.
That was a movie, was it not? It's not a movie.
Yeah. Which it's quite freaky looking into it, because it's like the whole, can an object be haunted? And it's like, so this doll, for example, they had it in a museum, glass case, and someone challenged it by knocking on the glass, what you going to do, what you going to do, and then he died on the way home in a motorbike accident. How much of that's coincidence? How much is it true?
As I've said to you boys before with this sort of stuff we talk about, I need sort of evidence. I don't sort of just believe in things willy-nilly, but there is some of it you just go, right, that is super, super freaky. You just go, it can't be that coincidence all the time. There's got to be some point when you go, right, something's not adding up here.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you, Tam. I think with this, like with this topic, there's a huge element of it of your brain telling you what you want to see on here.
Yeah,
it's like that whole thing, isn't it? Of like, if you're in the woods and it's pitch black, or you think you hear stuff or see stuff that you don't. It's just your mind. But at the same time, I think there is an element of truth. I personally haven't seen anything myself, but it doesn't mean I don't believe in it. I think there's too many stories out there. And like mediums, I follow a guy on TikTok, and some of the stuff that he gets random people joining in and he does like a reading for them. And you think, how would you possibly know that? It can't be staged.
I think these guys are really good though, Gary. I mean, I'd need to see what you're talking about. These people are master manipulators. I mean, they understand how the human psyche works and everything. It's amazing to watch actually how good they actually are at manipulating and making you believe what they're saying. But they're getting information out of you all the time that you don't even realise they're doing it to you. And obviously they'll do some background stuff as well.
See, this is what I said, because Liz told me that she wanted to, she got a reading done through some, and I was like, don't give her anything, don't.
Yeah.
So I was the same. I was like, if she asks you something, just give it a very simple yes or no.
Or
Nothing
just
extra.
say, you tell me. You're the one that's meant to know everything. Why are you asking me questions? You don't need to be asking me questions.
A, B, B, C, C. Oh, C, because they see your eye twitch or something. And she was on it, and she come down afterwards. She was like, I was just answering like yes or no or whatnot. And I was like, well, what did you tell her? And then she was telling me about how this medium turned around and said to her, there's someone watching over us who worked on boats. And Liz was like, hang on, in Scooby. So I spoke to my mum, and then that's where I found like my granddad's dad worked on boats. And I'm just like that. Well, hold on, is this just a common thing, something that they all used to do back then?
And it's also
like a common trade.
It's also one of those ones. Did you stay near water? If you stay near
But that's what I
the
mean.
water's edge, then you go. If you live near where the water is, then there's a good chance somebody in your family at some point must have been on a boat or a ship.
Well, we live in the middle, so no.
That's what I'm saying, mate. If you've got something like that, but that's obviously not the case.
But this is how much of it's like what I'm saying. So if I'm going for like someone that was like 2 generations back from your side, you know, is it just you have a pot guess with a common trade back then?
And it's also one of those ones. How far back do you go before you go, right? If you keep going back, you're going to end up finding someone that has a connection to what they've said.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So, yeah, mediums. I think they're con men and con women. That's my personal opinion. I said to Liz,
I'd like to speak to this lady that you spoke to myself, so I know what I'm giving her or what she thinks she's trying to tell me from me. So I mean, I can just sit there like, not even that. This won't get much from me.
For me personally, I just think it's a whole load of horseshit. That's just my cynical way.
Is it not something you try then?
I would love to do it. I would. What you talk.
Or is it more the negative?
I would love to just go and just sort of go, right, let's hear your shit, and then you would know if it's something. You go, right, hold on a minute. There's no way they could know that, or say something that's very, very personal to yourself. Then you go, right, that's when you do have to open your mind to it. But no, for me it's not.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think there is a lot of people that capitalise on it, on people's beliefs, like, and they ruin it. Like Derek Akora, prime example.
Yeah.
Like, he totally ruins it because you just think you're a tit. Like, you've taken something that is relatively believable to completely exaggerating it to then making it a complete farce. When you see people do it sensibly, it's so convincing that you think, I've got no other reason not to believe it.
Have you ever done it, Gary? Have you ever been to one?
Well, read it.
Yeah.
My sister has. I haven't. And my sister recorded it all.
Right.
And played it back to me. And there is absolutely no way this woman would have known anything about my family's history, anything like that. My sister's like accounts on social media are all private, so you can't look at anything unless you're friends with her.
Yeah.
And she basically discussed my nan, who passed away a few years back. And she wasn't even fishing for information. She was just actively telling my sister what she wanted to get across. She said, does this number's coming through, does this ring any bells? And it's like, that's actually her front door number. And then she's like, I'm seeing a picture of the moon. And it's like, well, we called her Nana Moon. And there's all these little things that you think, I mean, if you're good, you're fucking good. There's absolutely no way that you'd know this.
I think as well, that a big thing as well, though, Gary, is people want to believe in it, especially if it's loved ones.
Of course, yeah.
So you will sort of, don't get me wrong, I'm not, what you're saying is, it's like you go, right, that is proper freaky stuff. But you're going, how much of it is it that you want to believe that it's true? So, it's one of those ones.
Yeah, I get it. But I think it's like, if they were going, I've got a heart attack coming through, and you go, no. Oh, I've got fell from a great no. Like if it's process of elimination, you think, oh, mate, jog on.
Mm-hmm.
But when they just come forward and go, oh, okay, I think she was struggling for quite some time, and then sort of pretty much tells you what's happened, you think, yeah, that's exactly right. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah.
That's when it's just like, okay, well, this is weird.
I think we should do that. We should do that at the meetup. We should maybe try and get a psychic.
Well, to go get a reading.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Get it. Now,
Sit there crying.
We could hire them for one of the nights that we're there.
20 odd people rock into this little shop, and this is medium, right? We all want one.
Yeah. Just go, sorry, a medium won't fit if you got a large. Sorry, boys. First one, that's 31 minutes before my first horrific show.
You've done really well there, mate.
I didn't it?
Well done.
Yeah.
But that's the point of it, isn't it? Because that was one of the things I was going to say. It's like, are people seeing stuff and believing it because you want to believe it?
This is it. And
you want that comfort.
That's what even with ghosts and stuff like that as well. I think Gary touched on it a bit. It's like, they do like things. If you see random shapes, your brain wants to make a face out of it. Apparently, that's what your brain tries to make sense of random shapes. Is that what it is that you're seeing? I don't know.
So, an argument that's been put out there is that if you was to weigh yourself after you die, you are 21 grams lighter or something, 21, something like that, which they reckon is the weight of your soul.
No, mate, I just don't buy it.
I can't remember what the weight was.
I've got no.
And then the argument was someone's had to weigh someone, kill them, and weigh them straight after.
To me, it sounds like one of these things that someone's made up and put out there, and it's just,
I can't remember what I think it was. And then it's the whole, like, can violence or traumatic events imprint inside a building? So, say you fire a gun inside the building, can you then hear that 30 years later because it's imprinted in the building?
I mean, it's the thing. Who knows? It's like, because even scientists don't know how time works for a start. So you're going, so who knows what's...
I mean, we're still trying to prove if someone actually landed on the moon or not. What chance have we got of hearing a gunshot 30 years ago?
Yeah.
You wait until we cover Elvis next week.
Thank you very much. Uh-huh.
So, it's a fascinating subject, though.
Anyway, Tom, you sent me a picture. What was the picture for?
So, this is one of the this has become quite a very famous picture. It was taken in, I think I just gave you the date as well, December 1936.
That sounds familiar, mate. I'm just going to double check. You definitely sent me. What did you send me on?
Discord.
Was it Discord?
Yeah. What date was that, Tom?
December 1936.
I think it was.
1936.
So,
and it wasn't the year I was born, Gary, before you say it.
No, it was much after.
December 36, mate,
Yeah. So, I think nowadays it is easier, obviously because of technology and everything, to fake a picture. This was obviously back then. This went big. So Tam's got that.
Hang on a minute. What picture have you sent him?
Yeah.
You said this has got big. I've sent Tam a picture.
Hold on a minute.
Well, hopefully he puts up the right one.
Funnily enough, the picture's called Brown Lady. I hope it's not one of the... What is it?
That's because of the mould.
It's the scat picture. There we go. You see it okay? I'm not even kidding. It is actually called the Brown Lady, mate. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why, because she's
something called. But yeah, this is obviously this was someone from Country File that went around taking pictures or something. And this was back then when there's not so, well, strict photography
Yeah.
opinions.
Do you know
I think that's something that could have been done back then.
the first thing I can see, and I don't know if it could have been done back then, but that looks like the X-ray of someone's hand. Because in the top right, it just looks like fingers.
Yeah.
Don't know if you can see that or not, but that's what it
Yeah,
looks
no,
like.
See, now you've said it, like, yeah, but that's the banister behind at the top of the stairs.
But it's one of those ones as well, because back to now you're saying about it's more difficult to doctor pictures and all that.
Mm.
Fair enough. But it's also the equipment wasn't as good, so you could have faults. Maybe it's been an overexposure, or don't get me wrong, I think we need RAB for that one. But you know what I mean? It could be something that's happened while the picture was taken. It could have been something that happened while it was been developed. As Gary said, it could just be something as simple as someone's hand. Someone could have put their hand on this. Yeah, they could have put their hand on it, or it could have been something that's happened.
It's really freaky. You're talking about exposure and pictures. My granddad, my dad's dad, was a very keen photographer, and he had some really old school cameras. And my dad had them in a box in the loft. And when we were going through them, we opened the box. You know the old-fashioned like bulbs that flash and smash when you take the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we opened the box, this bulb just flashed. And we weren't touching it. And you think, fucking hell, this is weird. But again, is it just coincidence? Something's pushed the button by accident, and you want to believe that he's there with you.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's weird. When it happens, it's weird.
It's funny that you're saying about that picture, Tom, because once you'd sent me a picture, there was one I remember hearing about, which I don't even know if you can explain this one, mate. It is. I mean, I've no words for it. Because I was saying, man, I just need to.
It'd be like Casper, is it, or something?
I was going to say, this is where we're going to start mocking now.
Ghostbusters.
What? I don't know if I like where you guys are coming from with this, by the way. It's just, I just feel that I can't bloody find it now. Lost it now. No, can't find it. It would have been awesome as well. But I'm absolutely disgusted that you would think that I would do that to you, Tom.
So I think we've called him out. I think we've caught him. And now he's got a backfire.
Deflected.
He's thinking, shit, they've done me.
Yeah.
But no, there's arguments both sides of it. And I think it's one of them, you won't believe it.
I was right. That's Fatso, isn't it?
Yeah. Slimer. Fucking Fatso.
Brilliant.
Hope you weren't talking about me there, baby. Hope you were talking about the picture.
That was the picture. This is Ghostbusters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slimer, the character's name was.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Fatso and Casper.
Yeah.
Again, shows the age difference there, Tam. Sorry about it.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
That's just how predictable you are.
Nah, no, mate. I don't like to disappoint them.
So, Tom, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is this topic such a go-to topic for you?
I don't know. I'll tell you, ever since I think that I've seen something myself that I can't explain, it's like, it's something I could talk about for hours, and you get like the right videos.
Yeah.
And if I had a bit more time and I could have shared it myself, we'd have been sat here for 3 hours. Like I say, I think because you believe you've seen it, and it's not one of them where I'm happy to sit there and go, I believe because I've seen.
Yeah.
You kind of want to answer it yourself, but you lead yourself in such down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing I think about myself. Obviously, I can't speak for you, Gary, but I'm assuming that you're the same. It's one of those ones, until you see something, how much of it can you really believe? You might go, right, it's a bit freaky, but you're not really going to believe in it, I don't think.
No, and that's exactly what I'm like in our previous topic of like aliens or unidentified flying objects. I don't want to completely disregard it, but at the same time, you've got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Same as Bigfoot. It's like, I would love them to be real, but no one's seen one. And you think, how can something that big be in the woods and no one's ever seen it?
Yeah, it's just nonsense.
So, yeah, until I see something myself, I will always remain a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to be open-minded to it as well.
It's exactly it.
Yeah. So you can't be on it.
It's one of those things we spoke about before. That's how this started off. Was nothing worse than a closed-minded person that just won't open their mind to anything other than what they think. You're like, you have to open your mind up to at least entertain the notion that it could be.
Yeah.
And even if you don't believe in it, you've got to sort of go, right, listen to what people have to say about it rather than shoot them down in flames before they've even said anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Cool. Good topic.
So
what say, got Elvis next week, have we?
Have you seen the videos of that?
Well, I've seen videos of Elvis, but anything in particular you want me to look at?
No, so there's this bloke. I can't remember what his name is now.
Elvis.
But he's popped up out of nowhere. And they've tried to like run history on him before. And he runs a church. And apparently he sounds exactly the same. He sings exactly the same. If you look into it, you'll see what I'm on about.
Is that the documentary thing that it was on? There was too much talking in it, mate. I prefer a bit more action. A little less conversation and a little more action.
I was there. When you started talking, I thought, is this a serious point? No, I know.